Hello, One Piece enthusiasts. I'm the One Piece nerd, and today let's talk about One Piece chapter 1069. Chapter spoilers this week were mostly fake, and I'm very glad because I didn't get spoiled. So, thank you to the community. Other than that, there's a lot to unpack in the chapter. This chapter is basically what I wanted out of One Piece for a very long time. Ever since I started reading Jujutsu Kaisen, it's sort of like I wanted to see if if Oda could do it, where he would simultaneously start a fight and do world building at the same time. And he's proven me right. He's proven me wrong. I thought he wouldn't do it, and I thought he couldn't do it, but he can. He definitely can. He did it pretty well. So, before you move on, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. Now that you have, let's begin. So, Luffy versus Lucci. It's going to be a pretty long fight from what I could see, because none of them are sort of, getting their ass beat out of them. Like, no one's just stomping them, or it's not like both of them are having a hard time keeping up with each other. And one thing that the community got right this week is that Lucci will have an awakening, and so he did. As for my speculation for him having conquerors, I don't think that'll happen. It still might happen because, from what I can see from this entirety of the fight, is that it's gonna be a drawn-out fight where they'll be fighting, and then at some point, awakenings take a lot of stamina out of you. Luffy ran out of stamina versus Kaido, and I think Lucci would probably be the same way. We don't know for how long Lucci has been awakened with the fruit, but it seems to me it's pretty new, because it's been like 2 years, and it's not much of a time, honestly. So, when you think about a long, drawn-out fight, Luffy has to somehow, at some point, go back to base form Luffy, where he only has advanced conquerors. And, well, Lucci at that point could show his advanced conquerors, if he does have it. If he doesn't, then, well, whatever. But awakening Lucci looks insane. In terms of design, this is probably one of the best sort of, designs I've seen thus far. And this is probably the first Zone Awakening that we've seen, aside from the Impel Down beasts. I don't remember the names. So, and for Awakening Zone, aside from Luffy, this looks insane. And yeah, it seems we haven't seen much of the fight, honestly. The fight was very fast, and not much happened in terms of, one beating the other. Luffy just being his usual cartoonish style, like just the way Oda wanted to draw Luffy, and Lucci just somehow handling the moods and handling the attacks and throwing his own punches. It's gonna be great to see. And I feel like if this is going to be a long drawn-out fight, we'll see more of them eventually. As for the rest of the chapter, let's start with the world building. Devil Fruits. Devil Fruits, it's finally about time that we get information about the Devil Fruits, because Oda was always building up this part of, you guys want to know about Devil Fruits? Wait for Vegapunk. So we waited for Vegapunk. Now he's here, and now it's time to get the lore drop. So from what he's revealed thus far, it is still his theory. It is not, canon lore. It's Vegapunk's theory of One Piece, or Vegapunk's theory of Devil Fruits. Interesting, huh? So he says that Devil Fruits were born from desires of people trying to become something. They wanted to manifest their desires. That's what Devil Fruits are, conceptually. So what he means by that is, for Luffy, let's say Sun God Nika, someone, maybe it was Joy Boy, maybe it was someone else, who desired that, hey, I want to turn everything into rubber. And so the Gum Gum Fruit, or the Hito Hitonomi model Nika, was born. And some of them wanted to make the whole island into a string, or his or her surrounding to string. That's how Doflamingo's fruit came about. So that's what he thinks is the origin of Devil Fruits, and I think that applies for everything. I think that's a very interesting concept, because it sort of counteracts with Haki. Also goes along with it. So the only way to counter Devil Fruits is through Haki. Haki, as we know, is the manifestation of a person's willpower. And so it's sort of like, the only way to nullify desire is through willpower. Someone has a desire, but you if you have a better will than them, you can counteract their desire, which is very poetic in my opinion. I really like that fact. I don't know how many of you picked up on this, but this is a very interesting point. And I feel like once we get the sort of everything we have to know about devil fruits, how they came about, what's their creation, why is Haki able to counter devil fruits, and it's sort of like, yeah, that's gonna be very interesting when we get that real lore drop, not just, speculations. As for other world building, he did say that, the only reason why the sea in the world of One Piece rejects devil fruit users is because devil fruit users manifest desires which are out of natural law. It is beyond nature. So as a matter of fact, nature sort of casts them away. And the best way to cast them away in a place where the world is filled with 95% water is seawater, like, salt water, seawater. And, that helps, that sort of, is the only way to neglect their sort of insane amounts of power. So I guess that also makes sense. And I feel like once we get more about this, it's going to be very clear and it's going to be very interesting. As we move on the chapter Santamaru, what do I have to say about Santamaru thus far? So the way we thought Santamaru was actually a relative of Kizaru, but apparently he's not. So Vegapunk found Santamaru as an orphan, and you could see a little bit of Vegapunk's evil side in this. Like, we usually see Vegapunk being this very good guy and who is looking for this brilliant piece of thing that he wants to put for the world, help the world, but he does have his evil side. And, sort of, emotionally triggering Santamaru in order to help him, like, I just casually says, I picked you up as an orphan, but it's up to you who you want to protect. That's sort of like emotional blackmailing to me. That's very, like, sort of cheeky and wrong at the same time. But anyways, the decision was still up to Santamaru, and he decided to help out Vegapunk because maybe Santamaru owes him his life to Vegapunk, because who knows what would have happened. And, well, it's very interesting to see, and I really like it. I really like that we get character depth from a character we didn't even think would pop up in the story one more time. And for that person to be this level of relevant is very interesting to see. As for the Seraphims that Vegapunk has thus far, so we know their chain of command. The chain of command is obviously 5 elders, Vegapunk, Santamaru, and then whatever chip the CP0 have. Obviously, the 5 elders will be in charge of the Seraphim because they are the controllers of the world. And let's say just a better hierarchy is Im-sama. So, I mean, it goes hand in hand. Like, you expected as much. And now, speaking of Santamaru and Lucci just sort of finishes the job. It's like, the one person sort of stopping us from doing what we want to do is Santamaru. I'm just gonna put a stop to that. And so he did. As an assassin, he did his job. But there's still one person left in the chain of command that they have to overcome, that is Vegapunk. A lot of us thought that, when the chapter first came out, that speculations that the Straw Hats are in trouble because now they've lost control of the Seraphim. Not necessarily. Vegapunk is still way above in the chain of command than the CP0 agents that have the chip or whatever they have. And speaking of trouble, Kizaru is also coming. Kizaru is coming to Egghead, and then we got Santamaru, Kizaru, and maybe Kuma even showing up. A lot of people did say that, these 3 characters, Santamaru, Kizaru, and Kuma, were the ones traumatizing the Straw Hats. And the first time ever that traumatized the Straw Hats as a whole in the story. And now they're back, and Luffy is back for revenge. Like, it's time for round 2. And it's going to be very interesting to see with three of these characters sort of lining up together. And just add Lucci in the fray. It's going to be interesting to see. And I do have a lot more things to talk about within the chapter, but that's for the next video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day, and peace.